they started saying I was a threat to democracy.
Most people think Elon Musk is a genius, but he's not. He's a clever marketer, but he's not a genius. I've been meaning to get to this Joe Rogan interview with Elon Musk for a while. It definitely gives some insights into the way Elon Musk thinks, the conspiracy rabbit hole he's fallen into. And, you know, Rogan's been in that conspiracy rabbit hole for a while. But let's get started. Let's listen to this interview. And the whole interview is 3 hours plus, so we can't do the whole thing. We're going to listen to the most crazy parts and see what we think. Let's get started.
But if you just replace threat to democracy with threat to bureaucracy, it makes total sense.
Right.
So, I mean, the reality is that our elected officials have very little power relative to the bureaucracy until Doge. So Doge is a threat to the bureaucracy. It's the first threat to the bureaucracy. Normally the bureaucracy eats revolutions for breakfast. This is the first time that they're not. That the revolution might actually succeed. That we could restore power to the people instead of power to the bureaucracy.
Now, the size of it was when you guys first started investigating it, when you first get in, how much of it was shocking? Like this, just the size of it all?
Well, the size of it all, the small decisions result in multi-billion-dollar outcomes. So, you know, we'd see, you know, there was a case where we saw one person was getting $1.9 billion sent to their NGO, which basically got formed about a year ago and had no prior.
Elon Musk, by the way, gets $8 million a day in grants through his various companies from the U.S. government. So don't let him fool you here. He's also a master manipulator and taking full advantage of the U.S. government's grant program.
No prior activity. So they just stand up an NGO. The whole NGO thing is a nightmare, and it's a misnomer because if you have a government-funded non-governmental organization, you're simply a government-funded organization. It's an oxymoron.
Right. It's a loophole.
Yes. It basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to, people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
Just so you know, Elon Musk is trying to get a $50 billion salary from Tesla, a company in itself who has taken plenty of this grant money from the U.S. government. So he's talking about himself. He's, you know, unmasking himself here when he talks about these people gaining enormous wealth from nonprofits and grant money.
So insane that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands.
So this is the guy monitoring with Doge, supposed to know what's going on. I looked it up. There's 35,000 NGOs receiving grant money from the federal government. Not millions, 35,000. That's a big number, but it's a big government and we have a big country. And most NGOs do nonprofit work, like food for kids, food for starving people in other countries. I mean, it's across the board the things they do. But to him just say most of them are scams is just an outright lie.
I mean, there's, I mean, that's why I actually posted on X, like, I think maybe we should pay politicians more, frankly, because it reduces the forcing function for graft. You know, I think maybe we should either pay politicians nothing or maybe a lot more. It's like somewhat maybe counterintuitively, if politicians got paid a lot more, then they wouldn't feel like that there's so much of a forcing function for them to accept corrupt money.
Yeah, but the problem is if you paid them a lot more, they're still not going to make as much money as they would insider trading.
But it's less of a forcing function.
Yes. It's
well, let me put it this way. Like,
so Elon Musk needs to look at himself here. He's worth $400 billion, and he's still trying to grab as much money as he can from the federal government, from the people of the United States. He's trying to get all the grants he can for his companies. He's, putting out meme coins there and shorting the stock market and doing the carpet pull scheme where they put out meme coins and, they own 90% of them going out. And then as soon as a bunch of people make it worth a certain amount of money.
He doesn't want your dirty money.
Say like somebody's got a, let's say they got like whatever, some kids and like expensive, it's like expensive place to live. The schools are terrible, so like they need to send their kids to like some kind of private schooling situation. They literally cannot afford that. They cannot afford that right now. So then you get into the situation, well, from their standpoint, well, they've got to, they'll say they're doing it for their family. They're doing it for their kids.
Well, especially if it's legal, and it currently is. You kind of be silly to not do that. If you were a part of a group of people that's passing a bill, and you know this bill's going to get passed, you know the votes are there, and you know it's going to affect this industry and this particular manufacturer, and you can buy stock.
It's more than just insider trading. Like the insider trading stuff, like the stock portfolio stuff is quite trackable, but there's, it's a lot more than insider trading.
The way they're acquiring wealth.
Correct.
And what other methods?
I mean, this is really going to get me assassinated. It's like I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff, to say the least. I mean, I was supposed to go back to DC. How am I going to survive? This fucker's going to kill me for sure. In fact, I do think like it's like I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff because it's going to get me killed. Yeah.
I don't really have an answer. I don't really know the answer, so I'm just going to fake it like I do with everything else. That's what Elon Musk is a master of, faking it. He's not an engineering genius. He's not a genius at all. He was born with a lot of money. He started his companies with his dad's money. Don't believe the hype.
It's like I was actually thinking about that on the plane flight over here. And if you say like 2 years ago, I was like a hero of the left.
Yeah.
So how can I go from hero to villain at age 53 suddenly?
MSNBC, CNN.
Yeah.
It's like
more like Fox News, the Rogan Experience. He's been cultified by the right. What are you talking about? MSNBC, CNN. Rogan is so stupid, it's unbelievable.
They use the
Associated
machine.
propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Rogan is the propaganda machine.
I mean, they've tried to demonize you too.
Yeah.
Vast numbers of social security numbers have leaked onto the internet. People have hacked the government systems multiple times. Vast amounts of public information has been hacked and dumped.
Yeah, in fact, his Doge employees just leaked a bunch of social security numbers onto the internet. So
Elon Musk just published classified information on his Doge website as a part of a feature which allows the visitor to see their tax dollars going through bureaucracy. The posted classified information contains data about the size and the headcount of National Reconnaissance Service, which is one of the spies agencies of the US, which specialize in satellite intelligence. In other words, the agency specializes in spying visually or listening in with signal intelligence. The information was marked secret, no foreign, meaning no foreigners should see it. The major concern about this incident is how the DOD staffers got access to this information. Like, they don't have the particular clearances. They are like 19 to 25-year-old software engineers who don't have any experience working in government. But somehow these people are getting access to classified information and are posting online, and there is no one to tell them, stop, you can't do that. The reporter who published this story says that Musk can't claim that he didn't know about NRO being classified, as SpaceX has $1.8 billion contracts with the agency. So yeah, it's quite a big blunder by Musk Doge department, and people are really worried if their classified information can be found easily by anyone across the globe on such public websites. Let me know in your comments what you think.
What's fascinating to me is how much the mainstream media is in line with the very specific talking points, and how little you'll have Fox News. You essentially have Fox News on television. It's
Right.
like the only one that is pointing out the ridiculous fraud and waste.
I mean, the media is incredibly partisan. I mean, they're not.
Yeah, we don't want the media telling the truth now because that would out the Trump administration and all their propaganda. This is fascism 101, people.
Almost all the media is, left shifted.
Yeah.
So
That's a total lie because Fox News is the biggest network on network television, and it has been far right for decades.
if you talk to somebody who gets all their information from, like, what I call legacy media, they're living in a different world
Yeah.
than if they, say, are listening to, your podcast or getting news from X or, just
News from X, the Nazi propaganda website. That's where we should get our news from.
it's kind of wild. Like,
It is very wild.
like you talked, it's
Yeah.
like they're living in an alternate reality.
Oh, there's a lot of people that I talk to that I have to go, where did you hear that?
Yeah.
That is the stupidest f***ing thing I've ever heard.
People listening to your podcast are living in an alternate reality because your podcast is rife with misinformation and conspiracy theories.
The Associated Press, which I call Associated Propaganda, the AP, they ran a international news story saying that Doge fired air traffic controllers, but we didn't fire any air traffic controllers at all. In fact, we're trying to hire air traffic controllers, not fire them. A lot of really qualified air traffic controllers were pushed out because of DEI stuff. So
That's a lie. Does anybody really want to work for Elon Musk after he sends out messages? What did you do the last 5 days? Tell me today or you're fired. Nobody wants to work for this jerk off, this over bloated, wealthy, rich kid who got where he is from nepotism and luck.
I mean, not to be blunt, I mean, a bunch of really good, talented old white guys were pushed out. It's not cool. And so there's a talent shortage in air traffic control because of DEI and not hiring people on merit,
Which is so crazy that worked.
I think we should not put the public safety at risk.
No.
Because of some demented philosophy.
There's been more plane crashes in the U.S., quadruple the amount since Musk took over with Doge, and Trump and Musk took over with Doge. So just keep that in mind.
The whole meme coin thing is bananas.
Yeah.
It is so bananas that people dump real money into these coins, and then you could just pump them up and sell them.
A casino or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally
and
gambling.
people just do whatever the greater fool theory and musical chairs, and whoever's like the last to sit down loses type of thing.
And somehow or another, it's still legal. Like that's.
I mean, the thing is, I think not too many people. I mean,
Because he's the architect of meme coins, one of the architects. I think it should be illegal.
I mean, it's sort of like you go to the casino. Like if you expect to win at the casino, you're being a fool. Okay?
Right.
So I think if you expect to win at meme coins, you're being foolish. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not going to win at meme coins. It's like it's but if you want, like, don't sink your life savings into a meme coin.
No, but you can gamble a little, and you can ride waves and win a little and lose a little.
If you want to have some fun, and don't come, then play with meme coins.
But if you put your family's if you put your family's wealth
on a meme coin
in the Hawk Tua
at the risk
coin,
of saying something bold and outrageous, don't bet the farm on a meme coin.
The weird one is the pump and dumps. Like people
happen all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
And people get shocked that somebody pump and dumped. Like, what are you doing? I was hoping to dump. I was hoping to make all the money out of this. I can't believe they got me. Like,
yeah.
It's just weird that it's legal still.
I mean, casinos are legal.
Yeah.
And
it is
people
like a
just
casino.
lose money at casinos.
Yeah. But you can't rig a casino like a pump and dump. You could rig a pump and dump.
Yeah.
Rogan. All casinos are rigged. You ever hear the house always wins? If you start winning too much, they kick you out of the casino. All casinos are rigged.
Like you could run a real pyramid scheme.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, you can tell me better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so, well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately, but the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying.
Okay, this proves how stupid Elon Musk is, because a Ponzi scheme is basically a lie that someone will tell investors that they're investing their money, and they'll rig the numbers, and they'll tell them they're making all this money, and they'll pay them their investment dividends with other investors' money, and they're not really investing the money. Where the Social Security is paid for through your taxes. Every week, your 6.5% that comes out of your paycheck, it's paid for. And then when you retire, it's paid for by the working people. Like right now, while you're working, you're paying for the people who are on Social Security. Social Security is the one thing in the government budget that is paid for.
Like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations.
And there's a simple way to fix that. So right now, you only pay Social Security tax for your first $170,000 of pay. So Elon Musk, his Social Security tax is paid in the first minute of the year for the year, maybe the first 15 minutes of the year. His whole Social Security obligation is paid. All we have to do is raise that limit from $170,000 to infinity. So right now, if you make over $170,000, everything over $170,000 you don't pay Social Security tax on. Everything under $170,000, so most of us pay 6.5% of FICA tax on everything. So all we have to do is raise that to your first $1 million, or maybe to all the money you make, and Social Security will be solvent for eternity. Okay, guys, I'm tired of listening to these idiots. I'm sure you are too. See you next time. Peace.